After all, the further
here is a little more intense than it's almost.
But Rena's will is supposed to be a lot stronger.
I don't think we have to worry about that. It is thinking too. We might learn something. A week.
You insane? Rinwell, you're gonna... Rinwell!
There was only meant to be one world. And your goal is to make them one. Is this fear? What just happened?
Are you all right, Rinwell?
You could have gotten yourself killed!
He's right. You had us all terrified, Rinwell.
I'm sorry. I really am. But I know now. I know how the Great Spirit thinks. I know what it wants. How it feels. Rena's Great Spirit wants to complete the world.
What's that supposed to mean? Are you saying it's trying to make something?
Yes, exactly. Originally, Dana and Rena were meant to be one world. But that never happened. They've stayed separated, and the Greats don't know. But its will is clear. That's what the Great Spirit is trying to accomplish. The only problem is that since Rena's energy isn't evenly spread like Dana's, it seems like it'll vanish before that happens naturally.
So it's trying to absorb Dana while it still can, so that it can force the two planets to unite. Is that what you're saying?
The Great Spirit is scared. But it's not scared the way a rational person would be. It's more raw and undiluted, like just pure fear.
like an animal, acting out of instinct. Although admittedly, an animal would be easier to communicate with. At the very least, I have my doubts that it recognizes us as sentient beings with a reason for coming here. Earth, water, fire, and wind energy exist in both worlds, but most of all six. Knowing all that, Rinwell's findings do sound plausible.
That sounds a lot like Shionne's thorns, doesn't it? The whole reason the Great Spirit is trying to unite Dana and Rena into one world is in order to save itself. And if her thorns are part of the Great Spirit, then they must also be trying to save themselves?
Alphen, what is it?
We thought the only way to free your thorns was for you to die. Yet despite that, they seem to be doing everything in their power to stop that from happening to you. Something wasn't adding up. But then I just realized something. If the Great Spirit doesn't want to die, then neither would your thorns. Those same emotions, that fear, that determination, and its energy must have been the same thing that was keeping you alive. You were its vessel.
In that case, is that why her thorns caused so much pain to anyone who touched her? Because they were trying to protect themselves?
If that's all true, then...
The Great Spirit merely expresses its desires. I imagine it was the Helganquil who were likely tasked with putting together and implementing...
Shionne.
I'm okay. We need to hurry and clean this mess up before it gets out of hand.
Still, even if the current state of the world is wrong like you said, does that really make everything okay?
If the world had been whole from the start, as it should have been, there'd be no Dana and no Rena, no masters or slaves, No lords, no crown contest. Maybe just peace.
All this, the only reason it craves energy is because it's dying from starvation. When you think about it like...
If Rena had been more like Dana...
It's like Hevrecht 35 told us. The Dahnan and Renan spirits are meant...
Rena's energy amassing in one place led to its developing a powerful will. But that also means...
Whereas Dana's energy is dispersed, meaning its will never developed to the same extent. And without that hunger, Dana...
As for which is correct, well, I'm not sure it's our place to even say.
Dichotomy?
Those who know not satisfaction are driven to keep devouring without limit. But I imagine it's likely that the larger Rena's great spirit grew, the more and more
Everything in moderation.